Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the Privacy Edition with 2 security articles tacked on to the very end of the show. So stick by for that. And this week in privacy, first we have Amazon's Echo Buds can now track you during your running workouts. Hey Alexa, stop tracking me and order me some unicorn meat. Confirm. So yes, your Amazon Echo Buds can now track you. So they don't have a GPS built in, but they do have gyroscopic sensors. So they're going to use gyroscopic sensors along with other information you'd give it, such as your height and your weight. Of course, I'm guessing that the Alexa app is going to be able to track the GPS, and that's what it's feeding into. So the Echo Buds can now calculate the distance of your runs and walks and the amount of calories burned. The duration of your workout is calculated using timestamps, and your overall pace is calculated by the duration and the distance. You can start the workout with, hey Alexa, order unicorn meat, confirm. Oh, I'm sorry. It's, hey Alexa, start my run, confirm. And then you check your progress with commands like, Alexa, how far have I run? Alexa, how far have I run? You've run half a mile, fat boy. Okay. Alexa, what is my pace? Past workout data will be viewable on the Alexa app as well. So there you have it, guys. Amazon is now starting to collect all this data. Don't forget they're starting to sell drugs and health insurance and all sorts of other things as well. So definitely an interesting take on what we might be able to do. And next, Apple is indeed moving forward with a plan to limit creepy user tracking. Facebook is all up in arms about this and about some other things that we will see here soon, as you see from the banner down there. But Apple says Facebook is bad for privacy. Privacy says Apple is bad for competition. I see, this is the problem with Facebook. Hey, Facebook, figure out a business model where you have a contingency where somebody says, I don't really want to be tracked by you all over the place. You know, there's just a thought. But anyway, Apple is indeed rolling out its limits to basically putting blockers and awareness notifications on everything that's collecting data. Now, here's where Facebook could actually have a form of claim of some form or another. Is what if Apple is indeed blocking other people from doing tracking, but doing their own type of tracking as well, like it appears they are doing? If they want to build an ad network that is a competition to what Facebook is doing, then in full reality, yeah, this is kind of a problem. And so if you're using the device and Apple has an unfair advantage over Facebook because of the things on that device, and Apple controls the device, then an argument can indeed be made about that. And so that's something to keep in mind. Overall, though, I'm going to stand more with Apple than Facebook here because, hey, Facebook is not providing an opt-out method. Apple is at least giving us that opt-out method. So there is that. Well, of all these Zoom meetings going on in many places saying, I'm not even going to bother sending the employees back to work, AI can now run your work meetings. Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy. So they want to optimize meetings from automated scheduling to face recognition to measure your attention. So no more playing Candy Crush on your Zoom conference. I know that's what most of you guys are doing. You got your Zoom conference going and you got a dual monitor system and you're doing Candy Crush on the Zoom call. Hey, at least you're not tubing it, you know? At least you're not tubing it, you know? What's going on that screen? Okay, you're not doing that, at least. But the AI is going to be able to determine if you're actually paying attention or if you're not paying attention. And that's kind of a problematic thing. Now, on the surface, hey, this is great. It can figure out the best time to have a meeting based on everybody's schedule. It can give you some feedback. One of the things it said, though, is that if people were taking notes, you know, like taking notes to keep track of what's going on in your meeting, the AI is like, dude, you're not paying attention. This guy over here, he's not paying attention. Yeah, the reality is people can take notes, they can draw on pads, they can doodle, and still pay perfect attention. So this is creepy. Now, some of the people in the comments of this article went out and indicated some serious concerns. Sure, on the surface, it's really good. Figure out the better meetings, make sure everyone's attentive, make sure that everything is running smoothly, that your meetings have more efficiency. But then on the downside, now you start using this thing to start saying, okay, this meeting has to reach a 65% effectiveness, and we're going to keep the meeting going until we reach a 65% effectiveness. It's kind of like I was in a church once, and the pastor had it in his head that a certain number of people had to come forward during the final close. And so he just instructed the guy in playing the worship song to keep playing the same verse over and over and over and over. 10 minutes later, I kid you not, I got up and left. Friend of mine, a student of mine, actually, I was teaching at this time. A student of mine comes in. He's like, yeah, I saw you leave about 10 minutes into it. I said, oh, yeah. He says, I should have followed you because they left going for 30 more minutes. Like, what if the machine's like, we've not reached our 65% effectiveness rate. We're going to keep going. And by the way, the longer the meeting goes, the smaller your attention gets. And so everyone's like, I've got to get out of this crazy crap. But the AI will not let you go until the meeting is reached its own efficiency. That is some deep concern with what the thing is doing. But of course, you can sync your personal calendar with the work calendar. You can transcribe live audio files that you update, skim transits while listening to audio afterwards. I guess there's a desktop app is what that's supposed to be, light mode, dark mode, whatever. So anyway, how do you guys feel about AI directing your meetings? Sounds kind of fascinating. All right, from the Vice, now we get into some crazy dystopian stuff. From the Vice, the U.S. military is buying location data from ordinary apps. So a lot of it is tracking the Muslims, by the way. Not all of them, but a Muslim prayer app with 98 million downloads is one of the apps connected to a wide-ranging supply chain that sends ordinary people's personal data to brokers, contractors, and the military. So I guess the military, G.I. Joe, can figure out if you're actually following through with your prayer lists. Whether or not Allah is listening to you when you're doing your prayers, at least the military knows when you're praying. So kind of interesting. So they actually had a list here of several apps, location data, user application data, pretty much anything the phone could do. There's other ones. They are really targeting the Muslim apps. So one of the Quran apps, so, you know, in the Christian world, we have like YouVersion and Bible Gateway are two Bible apps. I guess it's like a Muslim version for the Quran. It wouldn't surprise me if they're tracking the YouVersion and the other one. That's why, guys, if you want to use a Bible app and you're a Christian, use And Bible, completely free, open source, connects to Sword modules. You can get it on F-Droid. No backdoor tracking in that one. All right, but anyway, do you work at Babel Street, Xmode, Venti, any of the apps mentioned in this piece? Do you know anyone? Okay, that's they just want information if you're there. Let's see. Locate X data itself is anonymized. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of exciting. Just utilizing a variety of apps, mostly Muslims, but other people as well. And in the total weird reversal of all things dystopian, Daily Wire reports, Chinese President Xi Jinping pushes for global tracking system using QR codes. So at least on this picture here, the QR code is on the left hand, not the right hand. But nevertheless, he's like, we have done such a good job of not telling the world about our COVID numbers. You should all adopt our crazy dystopian ideas over here. Start using QR codes. Put in the type of tracking system and do everything that we do. Hey, while we're at it, we were talking about the Muslims. Let's just go ahead and enslave them and the rest of the world too. No, not a good idea, people. Let's not do the things China's doing, okay? But anyway, there's the Chinese president telling us how to be more dystopian because the coof. Because the coof. All right, and our final story today, Facebook is trying to ban a browser for offering privacy. So this is called the Friendly Social browser. I have not seen this one before, mostly because it is a browser for an iOS or an Android device available from the Play Store. I'm not sure if this is an F-Droid. If anybody wants to look that up, let me know in the comments. But the browser itself, it's kind of like Brave. It's going to block a lot of the trackers. It's going to allow you to use different profiles. And Facebook is really getting involved here to try and shut it down. So it says, in yet another witch hunt, she turned me into a newt. I got better. The Facebook is trying to shut down Friendly social browser for impairing Facebook's intended operation. Friendly's crime is that the browser lets users block ads and trackers, organize feeds and keywords, and basically lets them personalize their feeds while the browser demands no support or the extension from the social media platform. Facebook is still trying to ban it for offering additional features. This is where the Electronic Frontier Foundation has stepped in to support Friendly and wrote a letter to Facebook challenging its legal claims. EFF has challenged their legal claim, which stated that Friendly had violated the Federal Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. So literally, Friendly browser is hackers for trying to prevent Facebook from tracking your data. Am I a hacker? Because I have a host file that blocks Facebook on all devices, okay? I mean, because it's defeating its intended thing. I mean, despite you don't have a Facebook, Mr. Switch to Linux there, I still intend to track you around the network, and you're impeding my ability to track you without an account around the internet, therefore you're a hacker. That is Facebook's argument. Of course, they go into it. What is it? It's a browser specifically designed for going onto social media sites with varying profiles and forms of data prevention. So EFF posts on Friendly also says the browser doesn't collect users' personal information, but anonymous data, which is sold to third parties for advertisers. Social media giant has even accused the browser in CFAA violation, which is where EFF stepped in. Foundation wrote a letter to Facebook challenging the claims. So part of the letter, California law defines access as to gain entry to, instruct, cause input from, cause data processing, or communicate with a computer. Friendly is a web browser, so it is our understanding that Friendly itself does not gain entry to or communicate with Facebook in any way, like other popular browsers such as Google Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox. Therefore, Friendly does not access Facebook. Facebook users do, and presumably Facebook knows better than to directly accuse its users of being malicious hackers if they change the colors of websites they view. So yeah, basically they're just giving you some ways to change your feed around. It'd be nothing more than the same way I'm actually running the comments on this live feed, where you can kind of see that if you catch the show live, 9 p.m. Eastern Central Time, then you can see that the comment feed looks different. It's because I am reprocessing how YouTube is doing comments on the client side of my browser. So there is that. So let's go ahead and jump on into my affiliate for the day. If you'd like to switch over your mobile phones, I have actually been using Mint Mobile myself for about a year now, almost a full year. Absolutely love every bit of it. You can jump on over to Mint Mobile. They can get plans $15 per month for 3 gigabyte, $25 per month for 12 gigabyte. So you can get such cheap rates if you buy a whole year of service in advance, or you can dough down by 6 month or 3 month. Right now they have a deal going on where if you buy 3 months, you get another 3 months free. So go ahead and take advantage of that code. Use my affiliate tlm.li/mm to save this and then help support the channel as well. All right, let's wrap up with 2 security news articles. First, Edge gets its own slew of malicious add-ons under the names of legitimate services. Yeah, Microsoft thought that they were going to stop all of this browser-y type stuff going on. Yeah, not really. So what happened? Microsoft Edge, which is the one now based on Chromium, this launches out. Now all sorts of ads start showing up. And I will think that people are going to be more susceptible to malicious add-ons on Edge than they might on other browsers because it's the default in Windows. But here are some of the abusive malwares found. NordVPN, AdGuard VPN, TunnelBear VPN, the Great Suspender. I'm just picturing a really old dude with suspenders there. Floating Player, Picture-in-Picture Mode, and Grease Monkey. That greasy monkey, get those greasy monkeys away from your computers, guys. But anyway, those are just some of the malicious add-ons added to Edge this week. So be careful of those add-ons, people. Make sure that you are getting your add-ons from a reliable source. And finally, Spotify resets 350,000 passwords, leaked to third-party data leak. So this is interesting. So these are passwords collected by a group of hackers through cred stuffing attacks. So there's a data breach was done. They found passwords, and they just simply automated the cred stuffing in utilizing a script to figure out which ones were legitimate Spotify accounts. Those that were legitimate Spotify accounts, they end up getting put on a database on the web that wasn't password protected. So anybody could get in there and gain access to the database. And so Spotify finds these things and they end up resetting all these passwords. So if you had a password reset, okay, the biggest reason why this happened though, guys, stop reusing your passwords. Really, stop reusing your passwords. That is why this happened. All right, well, if you'd like to help support Switch to Linux, have a look over on my Subscribestar page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. Head on over there and help support the channel. We have $1, $5, $10, and $25 a month tiers. You can help support the channel over there. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.